Always is Tyler Beard. Tyler, how we doing?
Doing good, man. Just ready to head out to Vegas on Friday morning.
Oh, I forgot about that. Nice,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, you're gonna be in Vegas.
yeah.
CG is not with us this week. He's in Canada celebrating Independence Day. I tried to tell him that that didn't make any sense, but that's fine. And Jason Bales is with us today. Jason, how you doing?
I'm good. Wishing I was going to Vegas, I guess now, but
Hey,
yeah.
don't, you know what? Don't we all? Don't we all? And Jason, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know this yet, is going to be working with the Quant Edge. Jay, what are you doing with the Quant Edge right now? You doing articles? Anything other than that, or
No, right now just a weekly DraftKings recommendation article
okay? All
for
right,
MMA
perfect.
only. Yeah.
So this Brews and Bets is going to be breaking down any bets for UFC 239, Jones versus Santos. I will take the first fight. I don't know if you guys like this fight or not, but I'll break it down either way, and then Jay, I'll throw you the second one.
Cool.
This is Pani Kianzad and Julia Avila, and this is going to be a difficult fight in my opinion for Kianzad. I kind of remember her from the Tough 2028 finale. She was actually the betting favorite versus Macy Chiasson, and it was a rough fight for her. Again, I think she went off at like minus 120. Um, she was a bigger favorite early in the week, if I remember. She had some decent experience. She has wins over Jessica Rose Clark, Lena Landsberg. I actually went back and watched that fight. They don't look anything like the fighters that we know of right now. But I think this is going to be a striker versus a grappler. I think the problem with Kian Zad versus Macy Chiasson is Chiasson was just way too big at 145. Again, that fight in Tough 28 was at 145 pounds. This fight will be at 135, and I think this suits her better. So she may be able to get her grappling off, but Avila is the better striker. So Kian Zad, I think, is going to have a difficult time. I'm not going to recommend a bet on this only because we haven't seen Avila, in my opinion, against someone at 135 that's really going to grapple her recently. I know she has fought against a couple of grapplers back in the day, but recently I'm just not comfortable enough to recommend a bet. Her only loss was actually because of an injury. She actually broke her finger. I remember actually watching that Invicta fight. She broke her finger within like the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fight. But that's more or less what I have. Ty, what do you think here? Recommending any bets?
Yeah, so I like Avila a lot in this match. I think that she's the better fighter all around. The Kianza, the only advantage she might have is if she uses her wrestling. I personally don't think that she's going to be able to. I think that right now the line's sitting at about minus 250. I actually don't mind playing that. I think she's going to be the better fighter everywhere. I'm a little bit concerned with the short notice stuff. That always kind of throws things off. But I mean, realistically, Avila should have no problem here. And
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take the minus 250.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were putting a play there. All right.
Yeah.
So Avila, Ty's recommending a bet. Jay, what do you think here? Recommending a bet? Or
Well,
any other lines too, Jay, if you like any of the inside the distance or anything.
well, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I actually wouldn't mind taking plus 195 is what it is right now for Avila inside of distance. She's a super aggressive fighter, and I don't think Kianzad really offers much resistance to any of her striking. I don't think that she's gonna be able to take her down. And I think Avila could potentially finish this inside of distance. Always, not that many finishes happen with people who weigh under 135 pounds. But plus 195 is more enticing to me than minus 250.
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree. Are you more of a straight play guy? Are you more of a prop guy?
I prefer props just because in MMA you can get pretty good leverage on some of these props. So like for example, I don't want to like take too much time, but like Ben Askren, there's no reason to bet Ben Askren negative 245. I don't know what the line is. He's just 340. Whatever it is, Ben Askren win via decision. Just been betting negative 245. Things like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Um, let's go right into this next fight then. This is Ishmael Nordiev and Chance Rencounter.
I'll take
right,
this one.
you got this one. I was gonna throw it to Jay, but you like this one? Go ahead.
Chance is a terrible fighter, and he's facing a stud. That pretty much sums it up. Pretty much, Chance is going to be trying to take this fight to the ground. He's not a good wrestler. 33% takedown accuracy. Nordiev, his last fight out versus Prazeres, stuffed 76% of his takedowns. Prazeres is on another level when it comes to wrestling over Chance. When this fight stays standing, like I think it's going to, Nordiev he throws pretty high volume and he's very accurate. Chance is terrible defensively. He gets hit with over 4 strikes per minute. This is a very one-sided fight. Currently, the odds are -500 for Nordiev. I'm going to be throwing that in pretty much all my parlays that I put in, whether it be parlays on this card or parlays to other baseball bets when I'm in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. You are going to be in Vegas. So, yeah, parlay it all up. Jay, what do you think here? Any prop bets you like?
No, I think he hit the nail on the head, and I wouldn't do much outside of just, recommending Nordiev -500. Right, I guess it hasn't moved too much, -15% since the opening, so I don't think it's really going to swing back in Chance's favor. So I think now's the time. Yeah,
I think you can put that play in at any time.
Personally. Well, I actually think that he's gonna stop him also. So the inside the distance play at +113 is good for a straight bet also.
You think he's going to submit him, or you think he's going to knock him out?
I think he's going to knock him out, but I'm not going to commit one way or the other when you're getting plus money on the inside the distance. I'll just take it for what it is. Because I think that he could box him up and and maybe knock him down and finish it with a choke or finish it with strikes. But you're getting +113 on the inside the distance prop. I'll take that.
Yeah. Personally, the -500 is a little bit too high for me. I usually don't throw that into parlays just because I don't think it moves the needle enough, in my favor. But that inside the distance prop at +150. Now that I think about it, I should say, and you mentioned it, I do like that.
Well, the inside the distance right now is 113. The TKO is +150. So
that's what I meant. TKO. Yeah.
Well, the TKO's you're only getting 37 cents extra on the dollar. So, to me, it's not worth the risk. Just, bookend it with the TKO or submission, and you're not giving much equity in it.
Are you calling for a knockout though?
I think it's going to be a knockout, but you never know. Like once he knocks him down, he could go in for the choke.
Okay.
It's just not worth the
aggravation of losing.
Yeah, over a few cents.
No, I got you. All right, Jay, we'll officially introduce you to the podcast and let you break down this next fight. Jack Marshman and Edmund Shabazian. Right now, he's -600 Shabazian, and Marshman is +450. And I'm going to pose one question to you right now. There's 12 fights on this card. A couple of these lines are real big. Are you going to be – if I give you an over-under of 1.5 underdogs winning, what would you put your money on?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. I think that I would go over just because I actually do like both Jan Blachowicz and Diego Sanchez, and obviously anything can happen at any point. So I think one of those two win, and then I'll take one random that wild card happens. Yeah.
All right. Ty, what do you think before Jay goes into this next fight? Over, under 1.5 underdogs.
I want to say under, but I know crazy shit happens, so I would say over.
Okay. But you're not picking any underdogs.
I'm picking one.
Okay.
And I think one has a legit chance.
I don't know if you guys play spades, but I'm kind of with like one and a pass. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys play spades at all, but I'm from Jersey. We play a lot of that stuff. So go ahead, Jay. Right into this. Edmund Shabazian. What do you think here?
Yeah, there's not much to say about this fight besides the fact that Shabazian should handle Marshman rather easily. As far as bets are concerned, 133, that's decent, but currently the line movement has adjusted 27% in Shabazian's direction since opening. I think now's not the time to bet Shabazian. I think he gets much closer to maybe like -500, -525. So I think you can find value in Shabazian later in the week. As you know, people start to realize that, yeah, Marshman's got a puncher's chance or whatever. He's definitely not going to win this fight, but the line movement should shift back. It usually moves in swings like that. So I would bet Shabazian if it gets down to -500. If it doesn't, then I would probably leave this fight alone. But if you insisted on betting on it, I'd bet -133 instead.
Okay, Ty, what do you think here?
Yeah, Shabazian should win this, no problem. I think that he's the better all-around fighter. I don't know if I love laying the current odds of 600. I would probably wait on it, hope to get it under the 500 mark, and I'd put it in a parlay with Nordiev. Other than that, I'm not really too excited to touch it.
Yeah,
because I think he's probably going to win a decision. So I'm not really too excited to play any of the props.
Yeah, and for the most part, I'm really looking to just stick it to winning, picking guys to win and throwing them in parlays, especially earlier on the card. I'm just trying to pick winners. I'm not trying to do anything crazy here. So I think I'm going to pass again on the -600. But I do think
on a side note, Shabazian's one of the coolest fighters I've met. So I might have a little bit of bias, but I don't think that it's going to affect my judgment on this fight. When he was actually watching the Diego fight with us backstage when I worked the event last time in Vegas.
And his brother was supposed to fight on Contenders, right? A week or two ago?
Yeah. Did you guys see that Cormier pulled out of the Anaheim card?
No, I didn't
see that.
Yeah, he got diagnosed with diabetes and pulled out.
Wow.
I woke up to a message at 3 o'clock this morning that he pulled out of the fight. That's the one that I'm working. And so currently they're trying to get Stipe another opponent. I think they're going to wait until after the fight this weekend. If Jones wins, I think they're going to give Jones the fight. If not, then
how close is that card? You don't think Ngannou could do it?
No, I think they're going to wait until after because I know they want to sell Jones.
Yeah.
Especially if Cormier does come back, they could set up that match.
Would Stipe take that fight?
I know they had talked shit to each other in the past. So
it's money too, probably, and especially on late notice, they're gonna pay him.
Yeah. Well, and so I think they're waiting to see how Jones comes out of this fight. If he comes out good, I think they're gonna offer him that fight. If he gets injured or whatever or loses, I think that Ngannou will step up and they'll have Stipe Ngannou too.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm honestly more excited to see either one of those than Cormier Stipe too.
Yeah, I just feel like this is like the worst case for Stipe, right? Like his head really wasn't in it. If he didn't get that rematch, he finally got the rematch, and then Cormier has to pull out.
Well, out of curiosity, what do you think would happen in a Stipe Cormier rematch?
I think Stipe would beat him. I really thought he was going to beat him the first time. Don't get me wrong, Cormier had a great game plan, but I think that Stipe, a real motivated Stipe, I think is going to be difficult to handle.
I've never really thought Stipe was that good. I mean, he's good, but I never really thought that he was like an elite fighter. I think that Cormier would find a way to beat him again if they fought again. What I don't expect it to be a knockout like it was last time, but I expect Cormier to kind of wear him down and drag it to later in the fight, whether it's a decision or whatever. Because Stipe kind of shows that he does gas a little bit as the fight goes on. So, but I think that if Jones gets the fight, Jones is going to destroy Stipe.
I mean, but you are a Jones homer.
I mean, I'm just saying I'm willing to put up big money on it.
I mean,
if they fought Ngannou, I actually think Ngannou would fare better this time versus Stipe.
All right, so I'm gonna get us back to this card only because the round table is knocking us off here, throwing us for a little loop. I'll take this next one, Alejandro Perez and Yadong Song. I actually taped this earlier today. I went into this thinking Alejandro Perez had a shot, and Jason and I were talking a little bit about DraftKings, before this, and he's going to be doing his article. Ty, you'll have your projections out. I'm actually going to do a live show probably Friday after weigh-ins for DraftKings. I just don't see it. I don't see Alejandro Perez beating Yadong Song. I think Yadong Song is just his like fast twitch striking, kicks, the spinning kicks, He doesn't seem to get tired really either. His punches, his right hand is probably, in my opinion, I just gotta have a gut feeling that Song's right hand is gonna knock out Perez at some point. He kind of keeps it cocked and loaded. Perez has a decent jab. He's gonna need to work the body here and keep distance. But if he gets inside, Song he's gonna turn on Perez real quick. And from what I saw with Perez, I don't think he's gonna be able to. What is he going to really need to do? He's going to need to duck under that big right hand and then come out with his own, with a counter punching right hand to kind of finish Song. Perez, I just don't see him as a high volume striker. These guys are both strikers, but I think Song's going to throw more strikes, so he would win the decision. I think Perez's only chance is to finish him, and I just don't see it happening. So Jay, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm curious. Does anyone have finishing odds on Song? Because I couldn't find any on best fight odds.
There are 8 odds out right now. Let's see what we have here.
I thought it was all Perez.
It is. Yeah, I just hit it. It's all Perez. Yeah, so we got nothing on Song.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that finishing prop is, but even negative 240 I think is a decent bet. But I'm willing to bet that you could get closer to even odds if you bet inside distance.
Well, and I'll go a step further before I throw it to Ty. CG showed me both of his parlays, and he loves Song. Song's in both of his parlays, so take it for what it's worth. Ty, what do you think? You agree with us?
Yeah, so I kind of felt similar to you going into the fight that Perez was pretty live. After watching some other fights, I don't think that he has much of a chance at all. Song should keep this fight standing. He could actually take the fight down if he wants, but I think that he's going to have enough success on the feet that he won't have a problem with it. The only thing that is concerning to me is Song. This fight was booked in March, and Song had to pull out with a knee injury. Now it's 4 months later. I don't know if the injury is 100% healed. I don't really know what went on there. That being said, I don't think that Song's going to finish him, actually. Perez is pretty tough. He has pretty good striking defense. So, I mean, I'm thinking that Song's going to win an easy decision.
Yeah, and this is a pretty decent step up in competition for Song, right? He fought who's the last guy? Vince Morales on short notice. The other guy, Barat Kandari, was his UFC debut, right? He's pretty terrible. I forget who the second fight was, but this is a ranked opponent. I believe Perez is still ranked, right? Top 15.
I don't know if he's still ranked, but I know that he's kind of scrappy and tough, and he has really good striking defense. He blocks 64% of the strikes against him, so he's not really somebody that's reckless, that takes a lot of risks when it comes to that, and he knows what Song's going to bring to the table. He's never been knocked out before, so I don't know if Song's going to be able to test that chin in this fight. I'm probably just going to play Song straight up and not even worry about a prop, but I think he's going to win the decision. Yeah,
there's going to be a pretty good speed difference once this fight starts. So, Jay, let me throw the next one to you. Claudia Gadelha and Randa Marcos. I'll just set it up for you. Gadelha is minus 225. Marcos is plus 185. And this is more or less grappler on grappler, right? Both of these girls are low-volume strikers for the most part. The one thing I will tell you about Gadelha, because I know Ty is going to call me out for it if I don't say it, but she is training in Jersey now with the Frankie Edgar crew down in Central Jersey. So I kind of am pulling for her at this point. But, Jay, what do you think?
I actually like Gadelha at negative 225. The line has shifted 25% away from her since opening. And I think that this matchup is more or less an anything you can do, I can do better matchup for Gadelha. She's a second-degree black belt in BJJ. She has great takedowns. She has a good wrestling background. Marcos, also purple belt in BJJ, but obviously Gadelha better. She has a wrestling background. I think Gadelha better. And I don't think Marcos is that much better, if better at all, at striking. So I just do this matchup as Gadelha out-wrestling and out-grappling Marcos the entire time for a 3-round decision. I don't think it'll finish at all.
I don't think it's going to finish either. I don't like the minus 225. If it was more in the minus 150, minus 170 range, I may throw a straight play on it or throw it in a parlay with one of these bigger guys just to get more or less even odds. It just concerns me because I feel like Gadelha in the last few fights going into round 3 was just exhausted. And I kind of get the feeling that's why she came to this camp. The one thing about the Jersey camp is that they do train hard and they're in shape. So I think that may be the reason that she did that personally.
The one thing I'll say about her being exhausted in round 3 is I don't think that it'll matter. I think she'll win round 1 and she'll win round 2, and then in the 3rd round, if she's exhausted, it doesn't matter because Marcos ain't gonna knock her out or knock her out.
Pull a Damian Maia and just do the jitterbug a little bit.
Yeah, just run around. Yeah.
Ty, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. I think Claudia's going to easily win round 1 and maybe fade towards the end of round 2, but she'll do enough to win that. And then pretty much she'll just have to avoid Marcos' submissions because on the feet, Marcos doesn't really offer much.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement there. I'm going to have no plays on that, though. Song Yudong or Yudong Song. Right? Didn't we not know what his first name was when he first came in? I think I'm gonna throw him in a parlay as the week goes on. I haven't made a play on him yet, but Ty, this next fight, I already have a play on Arnold Allen. I don't like the line, but I did throw it in a parlay at -370. Gilbert Melendez is +310. What do you think here? Who are you picking?
Oh man, I have no clue. I really don't know what Gilbert has left at this point. I want to say that he's live, but he just hasn't looked good in the last few years. He kind of branched away and started doing the analyst stuff, and it seems like he kind of lost interest in fighting. So, I mean, I think that Allen is probably going to win this fight, but I'm just going to stay away from it. I really don't feel good on either side.
What do you think, Jay?
I agree completely with that. I don't totally understand the -370 in favor of Allen. Besides the fact that Melendez doesn't feel like Melendez wants to fight anymore. I mean, he's a black belt in BJJ. He's lost 4 straight fights, but he has only fought elite level competition, something that Allen hasn't. Allen's only a purple belt in BJJ, and he has solid takedown offense. I think he gets Melendez to the ground, but and I think he's the better striker too. But Melendez also has a reach advantage, so I'm pretty much toss up here, so makes sense to play Melendez maybe on DraftKings, but you guys will get into that Friday.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think Arnold Allen, again, Melendez hasn't fought in just about 2 years, I think I wrote down. Almost 2 years. And again...
Well, he was just in a grappling competition 2 months ago.
Yeah, he was in a grappling competition, but I think the issue is going to be with his striking. I think Arnold Allen is going to hurt him on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to keep him off him, long enough to really be able to, I think he's going to finish him personally.
Well, see, this fight was scheduled for, I think, November of last year. Okay. And Melendez had to pull out due to injury. So it makes me feel a little bit better that he was in the grappling match 2 months ago, just because he was actually in some physical competition. You could see he won the competition versus Pat Healy.
Yes.
By decision, but you could at least see that he was back from the injury and then took an actual MMA fight 2 months later. So, at least that adds some comfort level that the injury is not kind of lingering. So at least from my standpoint, at least we have knowledge of that. But
yeah, I mean, I think Arnold Allen on the feet is going to destroy him. I think he's going to beat him up with his hands. And I think if he can do anything with his kicks, kind of what Jeremy Stevens did, I think he can just beat up that lead leg. Obviously, he's not going to be able to beat up the outside of it. This is going to be lefty on righty, right? Because isn't Melendez he does like to switch stance. I don't know if he switched stances as much in that last fight against Stevens.
It's kind of a stretch, though, comparing Arnold Allen's game to Jeremy Stevens.
No, it is. But I'm just saying, if you can – did you watch the Stevens fight? How many times he was able to knock down Melendez with leg kicks?
I did, but I don't think Arnold Allen's anything like that.
No, but I mean, if he can – it just seems like Melendez's legs are just thin for his frame.
Everybody in the scrap pack, their legs are like that.
Yeah,
it's because they run so much distance.
So I think I skipped a fight. I'm going to go back to it. Ty, I'll throw you this one. I think you're a little bit of a Marlon Vera fan, right? Marlon Vera and Noelin Hernandez. I don't think we have any lines here. Do we have a line out yet? No, that's why I skipped it, because I'm going back and forth between Tapology and Best Fight Odds, and it's not up there. So, Ty, if you had to set a line, what line would you set for this?
Man, probably Vera -3. The high twos, 3.
Wow. I actually thought it would be more like 4s or 5s.
No, Hernandez is terrible.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Hernandez is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to get enough action on like Vegas wouldn't get enough action at -500 on Vera.
Okay.
And so originally when Sean O'Malley got pulled from the card, Draco Rodriguez was supposed to fill in. He fights for King of the Cage. King of the Cage blocked him from signing with the UFC, so they resulted to this guy, and this guy is not a good fighter.
No,
I think. He's a boxer. He trains at AKA.
He just throws hands. He doesn't even throw kicks.
Well, I mean, he's trained. He's fought at Dragon House, which is a local promotion here in San Francisco. They're kind of like a feeder program to Bellator. They do have a lot of up and coming fighters, but he didn't really fight the best of the best there. I actually don't know why he's getting this shot. He must. I don't know. Cormier must have spoke out for him, because I mean, I don't understand why he's getting a title or not a title shot, a UFC shot.
No, I agree. And again, I think the other part of it is maybe somebody did speak out for him, but they also just had nobody else, right? They kind of waited to the.
I mean, you're in Vegas. There's 100 gyms down there. You could find somebody, and so I mean, obviously, this guy he hasn't beaten any good competition really. I have no clue why they gave him the shot. He was a low-level LFA guy. I mean, I just don't see it. Vera's going to just destroy him.
His last 7 MMA fights all went to decision too. Plus Vera, I mean, this guy shows nothing on the ground, and Vera just finished a training camp where he's training with Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, but Vera's going to want to strike. Vera's a striker.
No, I want him to submit him. I want to play the submission prop. That's what I want. Jay, I'm not even going to bother throwing it to you. I'll throw you the next fight. Michael Chiesa and Diego Sanchez. What do you think here?
This is one of my favorite ones.
Nice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, especially for DraftKings. I actually think that Diego's got a real shot to win this fight. He's a black belt in BJJ under Greg Jackson or whatever Greg Jackson wants to call his BJJ, Guido, whatever. And he's also a black belt in BJJ under Roberto Tuso. He has great wrestling. I mean, I know that he's aging and that his chin doesn't really tend to hold up, though he's looked better in his last couple of fights. And he has struggled against good competition of recent, not really against the guys that they've been feeding him. But Chieda's like known to lose fights that he should win. And sure, he's beat better competition. He's got good wrestling. He's got great BJJ. He has a slight reach advantage at 3.5 inches. So that may come into play in striking. But I think Sanchez is a little bit too relentless for the reach advantage to really matter. And I think as far as Chieda is concerned, this is one of the most difficult matchups for him stylistically. And on a card where you can almost guarantee 10 of 12 or 11 of 13 favorites are going to win, I like taking Sanchez as an underdog for plus 270. I'll take it. I'll take plus 270. I'll call it. Sanchez beats Chiesa plus 270.
Damn. Ty, what do you think here?
I'm totally on board. I don't know if you've seen the interview that I recorded with Diego for MMA India, but Diego has when he was going through his losing streak, he was also going through a divorce that his mind just wasn't in the sport anymore, and he's kind of refocused his life. He's kind of got his shit together, and I think he started training with a new camp, and he's just. I don't know. Talking to him, it seemed like he was on a whole nother level. He was back to the crazy Diego that was on The Ultimate Fighter, and that Diego's a hard out. And if you're getting plus money, I don't really think that Chiesa is that good of a fighter to have that much juice on him. Because if you think about this fight, is he going to knock Diego out? No, he wants to get it to the ground. Diego's good on the ground.
Yep.
So is Chiesa going to submit him? Probably not likely, because anybody that Chiesa does face that's legit on the ground, he struggles with. you see like the Kevin Lee fight, Diego is a similar type fighter. He's an aggressive fighter that can also get takedowns. He's slick on the ground. And Chiesa got in a world of trouble there. And I could see Diego doing something similar. Whether he stops him or not, I don't know, but you're getting plus money on somebody that has a legit shot. And it's not even a little bit of plus money. It's a pretty significant amount. I say you take that straight to the bank before the odds change.
All right. So I'll give you some narrative. I mean, I'm on Chiesa myself. I have him in one of my parlays, so I don't like what you guys are saying right now. But I'll take it a next step. He's actually getting inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame 24 hours before this fight. And then he's got to, get his mind back together and get focused on this.
Wait, hold on. Have you been to a Hall of Fame induction?
I have not, no.
For MMA?
No, I haven't.
It's a bullshit thing that lasts like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah. They call you up on stage, you get a trophy, you walk off stage. You might give like a 5-minute speech, but they do it during the International Fight Week, and it is a great honor, but it's not like a whole thing that distracts your attention for the whole week. And it's not less than 24 hours. I think the inductions are either tomorrow or Thursday.
Is it before weigh-ins?
No, usually they do it the day before weigh-ins. Either the day before weigh-ins or 2 days before during International Fight Week.
Okay.
I've went to like 4 of them. So
okay, I mean, I'm just going by what I've read. The article says 24 hours before. Again, they could be.
I mean, they could have changed it up because of the holiday. Right. I mean, they could have pushed it later, but I mean, I don't expect him to be up there more than 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, so take that for what it's worth. And then the other thing, well, wasn't he like a bigger underdog versus Mickey Gall? Am I wrong about that or no?
It was close, I think. I don't remember what the exact odds were, but
Mickey Gall, I mean, even take it from a DraftKings perspective, I think Mickey Gall was one of the highest priced DraftKings guys on that card.
To be totally honest with you, I thought Gall was going to run through Sanchez, and the Sanchez that I saw against Gall has me change my mind about his fight against Chiesa.
If you would have listened to Brews and Bets that day, you would have been all over Diego.
Yeah, I mean, he was my guy. I think we were both on Diego Sanchez. I know I played.
Yeah, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm not sure that I would have been.
No,
thanks for the support, Jay. I appreciate that.
Diego was plus 195 for that fight, but he was
a bigger underdog earlier in the week.
He was bigger. When I got him, I think I got him at like plus 250. A lot of money came in on him in Vegas last minute.
Okay.
We were all talking in the media tent that it was pretty significant amount came in like within the last 2 hours before the fight.
Yeah, and Mickey Gall basically came out and he did well early in the fight, striking the first minute and a half, 2 minutes. But once Diego got him down, he was on his back. He was done. He claimed two things. He claimed that he had some kind of an injury. And he also claimed that he had an adrenaline dump, which obviously he was gassed. I thought that Diego was going to finish him earlier than he did.
And Diego supposedly bit him.
Supposedly, yeah, whatever.
I really wish that we would have watched that because me and Justin were sitting there doing rather well on DraftKings until that Gall fight, and then we just sort of turned it off. We're like, fuck.
And again, that's the kind of fight you need, right? You need one of these underdog plays to actually finish the fight, not even win by decision. Yeah. And if you need one of them to finish the fight.
If I remember correctly, not to talk about DraftKings too much, but didn't he score like 130 plus or something like that?
Yeah, it was a ton. 133.5, I think.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a ton. I don't know. I mean, you guys are on him again here. I think Chiesa is a lot better fighter. I think he's a lot different fighter too. Now that he's up, this is at 170. So again, again, Chiesa is, what is he? 14-4. He's lost to kind of studs, right?
Oh yeah.
Kevin Lee. Who are his other losses?
Questionable.
Masvidal. And Anthony Pettis, right? And then the one to Joe Lozon, who I think didn't he have an injury in that fight?
Yeah, but you're focusing on his losses. Look who he's actually beat. He's beat a shell of Carlos Condit, Beneil Dariush, Jim Miller, who's past his prime, Mitch Clark. Like that. I mean, he's made his name off beating guys that are not really that good. The Iaquinta win on the Ultimate Fighter finale, that was a good win, but Iaquinta's a lot better of a fighter now than he was back then.
Yeah,
And
kind of one thing about Chiesa, either way, if you're on Chiesa or you're on Sanchez, is that he's negative 37% right now on line movement. So this line is going to move back towards Sanchez. So I wouldn't bet Chiesa until later in the week. I'm pretty sure it's going to get under 300 at some point.
All right, so you guys are you're killing my Allen bet and you're killing my Chiesa bet. So let's just move on at this point.
Wait, before we move on, how do you think that Chiesa is going to win? Because going up to welterweight, he's not going to have the power. Yeah, I think that people are putting a lot of stock into the Condit welterweight fight, and I mean Condit's just not a good fighter at this point in his career, and so I think that he's not going to have the power to do anything on the feet, and I don't think that he's going to be the stronger fighter on the ground. And so when you have two high-level guys and one is significantly stronger, I mean,
that's my issue too. Is Sanchez he's not getting enough credit for his BJJ credentials, and everyone thinks that Chiesa is just going to tap him out. Chiesa's most significant, strongest path to victory is going to be thwarted by Sanchez's BJJ, I think. So.
Listen, I wish we had this conversation before I bet it.
Well, no, but I mean, like when you played Chiesa, what was going through your mind, like on how you thought he was going to win the fight, just by submission?
No, I really thought that he was gonna be I thought he was gonna win all 3 rounds. I really think that he's gonna be able to
take him down, control him. Or?
No, I mean, do I think he's gonna take him down and control him for 3 rounds? No, I think he's gonna start the fight on the feet, and I think he's gonna be able to strike, outstrike him, use his kicks, use his punches. I think Sanchez kind of, what's the best way to describe it? When he's on his feet, he kind of seems to me like he's panicking. And I just don't trust that striking. I don't think that he's as crisp as I would like him to be. And I also, watched that Mickey Gall fight, and Mickey Gall was fine in the first 2 minutes of that fight, throwing some big punches at him. And I think he'll take some big punches. So I think he's hittable. I don't think he moves his head as much as, other people. Just think about the big punchers that have fought him. A lot of them have really hurt him and locked him out. He's been able to stay in fights with people that he's had a grappling advantage with, and even his last few fights, I'm pretty sure it's like 4 or 5 fights in a row that I looked on there. He's been the underdog in all those fights. Again, I think he's been 2-2 in those last 4 fights, but for the most part, the punchers have really been able to knock him out. The grapplers, he's got the better of the grappling exchanges and won the fights. I don't disagree with what you're saying, and again, I believe he's never been submitted.
So. His last fight with Mickey Gall, that was his first fight with the new camp and first fight after the divorce went final. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely narrative there with that. And again, with Chiesa, he's up at a better, weight class for himself. And again, the devil's advocate, what you're saying to that is that he doesn't really have much power even in this new weight camp. And even what Jay said before, I believe the story with Diego Sanchez is he got his black belt and then went to a different coach and wanted to restart the whole process, and then restarted back and got a second black belt. So, I mean, by all means, he's been well coached, and going through that process twice obviously is going to pay dividends, which is why he's never been submitted. So I don't disagree with what you're saying right now. I actually wish that I didn't put a bet in on it.
To be fair to you, to feel a little bit better about your bet, Vegas agrees with you. So we're on the.
But again, Jay, think about what we said at the beginning. I said it at 1.5, and you said some shit's going to happen, and it just sounds like shit's going to happen in this fight.
That's why I love Diego on DraftKings.
And I got to move on. I can't listen to this anymore.
Diego makes shit happen.
Yeah, but you know what? That's how he's going to win. If he doesn't make shit happen, obviously he's not going to win. You know what I mean? Jay, you said earlier you liked a little Jan Blachowicz, so go ahead. Blachowicz is plus 155. Luke Rockhold is minus 175. Who do you like here?
Well, I think this is a very, very close fight, and I think that Blachowicz, I just don't think that people give him enough credit for how good of a defensive striker he is. And yeah, Rockhold's a great striker. He's got a black belt in BJJ, but so does Jan. Rockhold's moving up a division, so there's going to be question there about how well will he wear that extra weight. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it does not. really all I was saying, we were talking about DraftKings, and really all I was saying was on a card where there's not too many underdogs who can win, I think Jan is the play in cash.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of them. I have like 3 in mind right now, and I don't want to tip my hand, and I'm sure you don't want to tip your hand too much at this point, since you're getting paid to do DraftKings stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that there's definitely a play here. Ty, what do you think here? You on Rockhold, Blachowicz? Who's your pick, Jay? If I have to put your feet to the fire, who do you have to pick a winner?
I gotta pick Rockhold, but I don't like it. I don't like doing it, but I gotta pick Rockhold.
All right, go ahead, Ty. What do you think?
So Rockhold is one of my fighters that I hate more than any other fighter in the entire sport.
Listen, you're not the only one, bro.
And I mean, I really don't like the guy. I've met the guy before. I just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like him. He's gonna win this fight easily.
Easily.
Yeah. He's gonna have the wrestling advantage. He has a striking advantage. I mean,
I think his striking advantage is significant. I'm seriously curious. Yeah.
What's that?
You think his striking advantage is like that significant?
I do, and I think that with his frame, the extra 20 pounds is going to carry a lot of power over.
Cool.
And with Blachowicz, he doesn't have much power, and that with Rockhold, like I think Rockhold is a great fighter. I hate to say that it pains me to say that, but I think that he's a great fighter. His problem is he leaves his hands low and he has a shitty chin. Blachowicz doesn't have KO power, and I know Rockhold's going to be tested versus somebody that is that is used to striking with the added 20 pounds, but I just don't think that this is going to be the type of fight that's going to give him problems. I think that he could keep this fight standing, keep it at range, or if he wants to take it to the ground, I think that he could smash on Blachowicz before he could do any grappling. And I really think that this is a one-sided fight, but that being said, I hope he gets knocked out.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as you said earlier, you don't like Rockhold. Rockhold has that reputation, right? Not a lot of people like him. But I do agree with Ty. I think that Rockhold is going to be better everywhere. I've heard a couple and read a couple articles where he basically starts his cut at like 230 pounds to make 185. He's a big dude, thick. And that may also be why he's miserable all the time when he has to make these ridiculous cuts to get down to 185. So I don't know. I really do like him. I think he's going to win this fight, and I think even the grappling, right? What is his BJJ pedigree? Isn't he a black belt?
Oh, Rockhold, they're both black belts. Yeah,
they're both black belts. So, you know, there's no ground game that I'm really going to be concerned with here. So. And I think Rockhold is the better striker. I do agree with Ty.
I think that Rockhold has the wrestling advantage, though.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's the one concern if I were to bet Blachowicz would be Rockhold wrestling.
Yeah, because he could take him down, and Rockhold has a pretty good top game. And he might not even want to mess around with the striking at the higher weight class. He might just want to take this fight to the ground. Maybe work some kicks, set up a takedown, and then just elbow his way to a finish or a one-sided decision.
Well, Ty, if we're going to talk about wrestling, I might as well throw you this next fight. Ben Askren is minus 245, and Jorge Masvidal is plus 205. And I'll be honest with you, this is the one fight. I'm not betting it. I'm staying away from it. Maybe if my Chiesa bet hits, then I'll throw something else on there.
All of it.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth on this fight. Masvidal has pretty good takedown defense, 77% takedowns. You know that Ben Askren isn't going to throw punches. He's going to want to take this fight to the ground. I think that he's just going to be relentless with the takedowns, and he's eventually going to get this fight to the ground and grind a decision. Masvidal is tough on the ground. He's pretty good on the ground, so I don't know if Askren's going to get a submission going. But if this fight stays up, Masvidal is going to pick him apart. But I think that Askren's just going to be too relentless. And even though Masvidal does have some power, it's not going to be anything crazy like Askren getting dropped on his head. So I kind of lean towards Askren winning the decision. Not really confident. I'm excited for the fight, though.
So Jay, what do you think here? I just can't get those pictures of what Robbie Lawler did in that first minute of the fight against Ben Askren.
That's exactly why I love Askren so much. I think there's so much recency bias in this line. It's not even funny. Ben Askren is going to wipe the floor with Masvidal, and I would bet this negative 245 line down to like negative 300. Askren's a black belt in BJJ. Masvidal is a high-velocity striker with a good chin. Obviously, Askren, Olympic wrestler. He does get hit too frequently. And, yeah, Masvidal's got power, but I think it's exaggerated. And if you look at, like, his recent fights, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, 3 years ago that he was losing to Benson Henderson and Lorenz Larkin. He lost recently to Damian Maia. Damian Maia took him down 3 times. Damian Maia has great BJJ, but not good takedown offense. And if Maia can get him down 4 times, I don't see how Askren couldn't get him down.
Well, and it kind of goes to what I told you the other day, Steve. I think that from what I heard is if Askren wins this fight, they're setting up the Askren Usman fight for November.
November in New York City?
That's what is that the New York City card?
New York City's always November. Yeah, that's at the Garden.
Well, because they're doing another one in oh no, that's the New Jersey card that Covington's on, right?
They're doing Newark, yeah.
See, they put Covington on that card. Covington was supposed to get the shot versus Usman.
Right.
They booked him because I think that they're counting on Askren winning this fight and then booking that for a huge event.
I really want them to book the Covington fight because Usman's going to destroy him.
Usman's what, Jay?
Going to destroy Covington.
Well, that's why Covington's been ducking everybody that's up the top because they're better wrestlers than him, and he offers nothing striking. So versus Woodley, he would have got knocked out. Versus Usman, he's gonna get lit up, and versus Askren, he'll lose. So, I mean, he's been ducking the top fights. Now they threw him on that card, so it's leaving wide open for Usman versus Askren, and that. They've already talked shit to each other. That the fight sells itself. It's going to be a huge event.
Yeah, that would be one of my favorite fights.
And then
Nebraska.
And then after Masvidal loses this, they could put him and Leon Edwards.
That's the fight that does need to happen. Leon Edwards was talking some nonsense about.
And then there's 2 fights that sell. So I think this kind of does justice for the UFC. They know what they're getting in this fight.
I tell you what, Ty, I'm impressed with the narrative that you just created there. I know you're an anti-narrative guy, but that's some pretty good planning, right?
I'm moving to Vegas. I'm trying to audition for.
I'm telling you, man, you definitely get a hard time. You're right next to Mick Maynard.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll take this next one, and then Jay, I'll throw you the main event to start off there. Cool. Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm. I think Amanda Nunes at minus 340. Should be in every one of your parlays. I just don't see how Holly Holm is going to be able to beat her. Holly Holm, although she was able to take down Megan Anderson, that is not part of her game. And I think Nunes is better on the ground, and her power on the feet is pretty impressive. I was all over Nunes. I already put her in both of my parlays before I watched the Daniel Cormier breakdown on, I think it's called Detail on ESPN Plus. But if you haven't seen it, it's about a half an hour long. But Cormier basically breaks down Nunes' fights from earlier in her career to more recently when she beat Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, and Cyborg. And again, Nunes is a beast. Again, I think this is gonna, end very similar to the way the Pennington fight did. If Holly Holm gets inside too much, Nunes is going to hurt her, and when she hurts her the first time, I don't think Holly's going to have anything for her. She's not fighting Betchko Hay here. Nunes is a problem. So, Tyler, what do you think here?
Yeah, so initially I was with your same thinking, but I think that Holm's movement and her being technical could cause problems, and I don't think that Nunes is a slam dunk play. I do expect her to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Holly could pick her way to a decision. I'm really nervous about it. I don't like laying that much on Amanda Nunes. I know by rights she should be that much, but Holly's very technical, and she's a good counterpuncher. If Nunes comes in aggressively, I wouldn't be surprised if Holm could pick angles and pick her with some key shots and drag this late. Earlier in her career, Nunes had cardio issues. This is her first fight coming back down from fighting at a higher weight class. Kind of a lot of questions, not really questions, but it's more so like how is this fight going to play out with all the stuff that's went on? I know she's talked about stepping away from the sport for a while. Also, like this being one of her last fights. I know her and Ansarov want to have kids. So it's like what she's already done everything that there is to have in the sport. If she kind of takes this fight easy, I think that she might be in for some problems versus Holly. But my official pick is Nunes. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to be as easy as we're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
I think Nunes wins this fight too, for sure. But the bet that I would make if I were to bet on this fight is that it goes the distance. Holm is a great counter striker, and she keeps distance well. And yeah, Nunes is super aggressive, but she's usually super aggressive towards other fighters who are also super aggressive. I'm wondering how aggressive she's going to be against Holm. I think if Holm can keep distance and use her kicks, I seriously don't think that she's going to win this fight, but I do think that it'll go. What is it? This one's going to be 5 rounds. I think it'll go all 5 rounds. And I know Nunes is -119 to win inside distance. I wouldn't bet that. I think you can get similar odds, probably better odds, that the fight goes the distance, period, and then you kind of have that that fallback if, say, Holmes does win this fight. Well, the only way she wins this fight, outside of a ridiculous head kick, which probably isn't going to happen, is that she wins a decision. So you get Nunes decision, you get Holm decision, and I like that for probably about even money. I'm not sure what it is though.
And I'll even go a step further with some of the fights. And Ty, I considered everything that you more or less said. Like, how can Holly Holm win this fight? Again, I was at the Durandamy fight, the worst card in UFC history. UFC, I believe it was 208 in Brooklyn. So I was at that fight, and I just didn't see enough, of a counter punch. I didn't see her initiating. Betch Kohea, even if you remember the Betch Kohea fight, they were basically like staring at each other for most of that fight. And then she, as Jay just said, I'm assuming that's what you're alluding to, the head kick. She was able to head kick her, even Ronda Rousey, right? There was in that fight, it was like there was a lot of stuff kind of not really going on. They were kind of striking from distance, like you're saying, Jay. And then she caught her with a head kick. I don't see her catching her with a head kick, and I think she's going to be fine with not a lot going on. And I think Amanda Nunes isn't going to be okay with that. I think she's gonna punch. I think she's going to hurt her. Even her leg kicks, kicks are nasty too. And I think she can actually, clinch with Holly Holm, get her into the clinch, and maybe even drag her down. I personally think Nunes is going to be the stronger fighter. I don't know about you guys, but I think she's going to be stronger, especially coming down from the 145. The gas tank is an issue, but I believe didn't she have like her adenoids taken out or her sinuses drained or something like that? I know she had some kind of a procedure to improve her breathing. So I don't know how much of an issue that's going to be after that surgery. But all right, let's get into this main event. We've been on long enough. Jay, what do you think? John Jones, Thiago Santos? Maybe you want to pick a round instead of a winner. What do you think?
John Jones, definitely. He has an 8.5-inch reach advantage against Santos, and Santos needs to get inside to do damage. So they're both black belts in BJJ. Jones under Greg Jackson. I don't know who Santos is a black belt under, but both very impressive on the ground. I think Jones might want to take this to the ground just because Santos' only way to win is a knockout. But I think that causes problems, and I think Jones is going to utilize his reach advantage. I'll take Jones via knockout in 3, just because Santos is so aggressive. If Santos comes out not as aggressive as he usually is, then I'll take round 4 or 5.
All right. Ty, what do you think here?
So Thiago Santos got taken down 6 times versus Eric Anders. If he thinks he's stopping John Jones's takedowns, he's in for a long night.
Let me stop you right there because this is what I'm considering, and this goes into what round I think. When do you think he goes for that takedown?
Probably about 2 minutes in. I think he's going to go in for about 2 minutes in, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a first-round finish.
By strikes or by submission?
Ground and pound.
Okay, yeah, I'm calling for Jones by KO TKO at plus 165. I kind of agreed with Jay. I thought maybe round 3 or 4. I thought he would tire him out in the first 2 rounds. Obviously, at that point, Santos is going to be compromised because I think his cardio is going to go. Santos, what does he really have? 3 minutes. If he doesn't knock John Jones out in the first 3 minutes, which I don't see happening, I mean, he's gonna, once the cardio starts going, he's done.
Well, not just that. So the line has been going down on John Jones. Right now it's at minus 600, but the line has been trending down.
Right. Yeah. It's 15%.
And I think it's because the public perception that Thiago Santos is a knockout artist and he's a huge guy and this and that. John Jones is bigger than him.
Yeah, he's significant.
He's going to be 2 inches bigger than him. His arms are longer than him. Santos rarely gets in fights where he's not the bigger guy. And I mean, I just don't see many ways for him to win this fight outside of a knockout. But John Jones has been hit by just as much hitters that I don't think Santos is that.
Yeah, I think Jones should be closer to negative 850. I actually like negative 600, even though it's like insane to bet 6 units to win 1. But in a fight where you got the best in the world fighting Thiago Santos, I think it makes sense.
Well, and not just that. Thiago Santos is getting his name by knocking out fighters that we thought were good, but turned out to not be.
Yeah.
Eric Anders, when he knocked him out at light heavyweight, Eric Anders had a lot of stock. He was a highly touted prospect. Jimmy Manoa.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean TKO. I mean he pretty much broke him down. But I mean versus Eric Anders. He stopped him, but everybody thought Eric Anders was going to be the next big thing. We now see that he's not as good a fighter as we thought he was. Jimmy Manoa can't take a punch from my 6-year-old son, let alone another 205-pounder. And Jan Blachowicz, in a striking fight, I mean he doesn't really offer much. So now you're getting in there with the best in the world when that is your pedigree leading up to it. And, I mean, he couldn't finish Kevin Holland, which Kevin Holland's a good fighter, but he took the fight on a few days' notice. I mean...
My only issue with Jones, though, I mean, definitely inside distance for sure, right? But you couldn't finish Lionheart in round 1. I don't think you're finishing Santos. And I don't think it's because he can't. I think it's because he doesn't really want to. And I think it's because he's testing his cardio, and I think it's because he's testing his striking. And he's going to use this as to work for, DC or Stipe or whoever the hell else he's going to get in the next fight.
I could see that, but I think that because I was at the Anthony Smith fight. I was at all their exchanges. I think that Jones didn't really take him very seriously.
As he probably shouldn't have.
I never really understood why Anthony Smith was in there. He's kind of on the same pattern as Thiago Santos. They're making their name facing over-the-hill fighters, not very good fighters, and you're knocking them out. You're looking good.
Yeah, everybody wants to watch them because they're, those power guys.
And I mean, it looks great, but in reality, what have you done? You've knocked out a bunch of over-the-hill guys that are not really that good. And, I mean, John Jones is kind of peaking right now. I mean, he looked great versus Anthony Smith. I know he didn't get the early knockout, but technically he was very skilled in that fight, and he kind of showed a different game. And I think he's more so working on himself now. And I know that he's been training a lot of jiu-jitsu, and he's talked about doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. I wouldn't be surprised if he took Thiago Santos down and submitted him. I personally think it's going to be ground and pound, but
I just don't see a situation in which he needs to do that. And I don't think if he needs to do it, why do it? You know what
I mean? I don't think it's necessarily that he needs to do it. I think that he just is playing around with lesser competition, and he's been doing that. He did it versus Gustafsson even. Like he straight up said Gustafsson's only path to victory was to get inside. I'm not going to let him get inside. I'm going to work my jab and keep my distance. He could do the same thing versus Santos, and Santos can chase him around the ring, and he'll just outbox him.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen for a couple of rounds until.
Yeah, Jay, you're going in and out a little bit.
Well, I'll follow that up a little bit because I think that right now John Jones is worried about not the fighter in front of him, but how can he make the most effective fight versus his opponent. And so he's fighting smarter and with an actual game plan rather than just going out there pure skill. We already know he's the most skilled guy in the sport. Now he's adding the mental aspect too, and I really don't think the Thiago Santos has much for him at all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. All right, so my official prediction, I'm going to go with my original prediction. My official prediction is John Jones in round, I don't want to say 3 because Jay already said it, but that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking 3 or 4. I'm going to go 3. So I'm just going to say 3. So I think John Jones in round 3 is where this is going to finish. Again, I think he's gonna kind of toy with him early, take him down, and then ground and pound him in round 3. That's my official prediction. Why don't we just go around and tell everybody what else we're doing? Jay, what else are you doing this week? You're writing an article for the Quan Edge. Anything else other than that?
Oh, I always have an article for DFS Karma, and I always have a podcast for DFS Karma, which should be coming out within, the next couple of days. I don't know. This is obviously we all know that there's 100K to first. So I may be doing a little more work than I usually do, but usually speaking, DFS Karma article by Thursday or Friday, and then the podcast usually Saturday before the fight start. And
is that all subscription?
It's all free, actually.
Oh, it's all free. Okay.
It's all free.
All right. And then Ty, what else are you doing? Prize Picks?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a late night working on my projections for the Quan Edge and Prize Picks tonight. I want to get them done so that way I can get them out of the way and focus on getting down to Vegas.
Okay. Any of the late odds value that comes up? Do you adjust Prize Picks from there?
I do, yeah. We kind of monitor it. We treat it like kind of like a casino does. Depending on how the money coming in, we adjust our plays based off that.
Okay, and then again, by the same token, I know you do that with the Quan Edge.
So with the Quan Edge, I keep it with my projections.
With the original ones, you don't adjust them?
No, I don't adjust them because that's my projections that I feel are going to happen or pretty close to it. With Prize Picks, we adjust it based off how the market is. So I set the initial line, and then depending on how the market swings things, we adjust it based off that.
Okay. And then the only other thing I have this week is I'll be doing my solo pod for DraftKings. So we'll get that off. So, Jay, good luck. Congratulations getting with the Quan Edge.
Yeah.
And, come on back any time. I know CG wasn't here today, but we could always go 4 deep.
Yeah. Next time if CG isn't here, you and your brother could come on.
Yeah. Let me know. Justin's definitely down anytime.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while, so it'd be good catching up.
Yeah, we could have done that tonight. I didn't know. All right, guys. Good luck this week with your bets.